Hello there. Welcome to Quarry Wood. This is the reserve I'm warden of, and I thought I'd try and let you see what it's all about. This is the first time I've been up here for a couple of weeks, and we'll do a quick inspection. So let's see what we can find. As you notice, it's the middle of the nesting season. We've got our signs up to keep dogs on leads and keep people on the footpaths. And hopefully that will protect the ground nesting birds. Right, walk this way. It's a bit windy, so you may have problems hearing me, but as we get further into the woods it should be better. Okay, there's a chiff chaff in the background you can hear, or maybe you can't. Right, first thing to point out is, if I can find it now, you may not be able to catch it on the camera, but there's a woodpecker's hole in the tree just up there, and the young woodpeckers have been absolutely screaming for food, and the adults have been busy getting beakfuls of insects to feed them. They're a bit quiet at the moment, so maybe they've grown up a bit and maybe even fledged. But let's hope that they survive. Right, this is a young wood. Hope you can hear me over the cars. Silver birch stand here, slowly in this area. Some chestnut and oak, and we're heading towards. You can see. This is the ash, lots of young ash coming up. We've had lots of ash dieback, unfortunately, so let's see how that's doing. Right, that doesn't look too clever, this one here. You can see the growth only goes up to here, and yeah, brittle, and it's got ash dieback. However, a bit further up, let's have a look. There are, cross fingers, signs of recovery. So let's take a look. Some more there. The wind has died down, which is great. Right, heading up towards the old road bridge. This is the track we're on at the moment, is the old railway, the Bexhill to Crowhurst railway. Just up there, a bit further up there, was where the 17 Archers viaduct used to be, until it was blown up in 1969. Right, this is where the ash dieback is really in force. You can see some definite deadies, unfortunately. Right, there's some here which seems to be okay at the moment, and there's others which have actually shown signs of recovery. This one is definitely dead. Nothing there. But you will see there's a whole load of dead ones there. But we're hoping that they'll recover. There are signs of recovery around, and we'll have to see what happens. So fingers crossed. We don't want to lose our ash. Beautiful tree. Okay, so as we walk up this way, we come to see all the wild garlic is now gone to seed, and hopefully we'll get a lot more. That was a beautiful spring flower. yeah, there's lots of it gone to seed, so we should get a decent lot as well next year. More here. Here's our cave. This is the old quarry, so it's the sand rock, and probably started. They are badger sets just the other side of it, but that cave's been there for a long time before the reserve. The reserve is about 20 years old now, and I think kids used to play in that long before that it was designated a reserve. Beautiful ferns all over the place here. You can see there's lots of different types of fern, and not easy to identify, so I won't go into that at the moment. And as we head towards our pond, the rain has sprung up, or rather has fallen, and a lot of brambles especially, and nettles and ferns have sprung up. I should come along and clear a few of these footpaths. Lovely stratified rock face here, and this is our fernery. Beautiful large fronds, and you can see the whole of that. We cleared a lot of bramble from here to allow these ferns to come up, and the other side of the pond. Here's our pond, which is quite large. It's doing well at the moment. Covered in duckweed, as you can see. When we first took on the reserve, the whole thing was sort of covered over, the canopy had closed over, and as soon as we took that away, the light got in and the duckweed arrived. But there's lots of life in there. There's newts, frogs, lots of lovely insects, dragonflies, damselflies. It's doing well. Sometimes around this time of the year it's disappeared altogether, but we've had a bit of rain, thankfully, to keep it going. This rock is used quite often as a squirrel's dining table. If you take a look down here, you'll see bits of acorn and chestnut and all sorts of things where they hop onto there and have a feast. So it's nice to see that. Some of the trees, there's very little topsoil here, and all these trees are sort of skating around on shallow ground, and when we get strong winds we do lose the odd tree. You can see the bending over. We make habitat piles when we do some clearance, which is basically putting piles of wood down for insects and small mammals and amphibians, and you just leave them there and they rot down, and they're perfect habitats for wildlife. You see those all over the reserve. Another one here. We try to keep our signs down to a minimum, but we have these nature notes which we put up. This one's on newts, and my pal Lorna is brilliant at producing those, and we stick them around when we see something of interest or something to note. Right, here's our first bit of art, natural art if you like. Okay, this is what we call our fungi dome. I went to an exhibition at Eastbourne Gallery of David Nash, and he had you see it here. He had a wood dome here, which is indoors, and so inspired by it that my pal and we decided we'd have a natural one in the woods. And we wanted it to be a fungal dome, so it'll rot down, and you can see the fungi all over the place here, different types of fungi. There's some interesting ones we've kept on the side as well. So this one, you can see this beautiful blue colour. This is called cobalt blue. We've also got these elf caps, but they've gone now for the season. Actually, that's cobalt blue, but there's also some of this lighter green stuff is green elf cap. So the cobalt blue is possibly, it's my mistake, this is green elf cap, and the cobalt blue has probably gone black now. But you can see on the poster just how blue it was at the time. So we're hoping that this dome of ours will stay around for a little while. Lots of lovely fungi. Beautiful colours here. And it's made up of just bits of wood, as old as you like, and been lying around in the woods here. And that's it, our first bit of Quarry Wood nature art. Okay, now we'll go along to the pond, go alongside the pond, find ourselves on the gorse. I'm not sure how this arrived here, but it's a bit prickly. Another small habitat pile there. Right, let's duck under here, shall we? See what we can find. Right, the water changes. The water changes. Just apologising to Willow. She's camera girl today, and I'm dragging her through all this undergrowth. So the duckweed stops here, and it's clear water here. Up until a couple of weeks ago, this was a sort of horrible yellowy colour. All the tree pollen had landed in the pond, and it looked like a covering of yellow scum on top of the water. But with the rain, that's mixed it up quite nicely, and it's back to a nice clear colour now. Maybe not as much rain as we'd hoped, because you can see the water's receding already. Okay, lovely bark from the silver birch. Here's our, oh look at this, nice big bramble. I'll just pull this to one side whilst Willow comes through. I must come down with the clippers. Right, here's the pond, probably get eaten alive here. But yellow flag iris are out, which is nice. It's good for looking at trails where the water's receded. I have seen deer in here, deer trails, and obviously badger, fox. Can't see anything obvious at the moment. Lots of insects, and yeah, in danger of getting eaten alive at times. Okay, and so this is our Quarry Wood art bench, made from bits of fallen tree which was lying around. We used to have a bench, but that fell to bits shortly after my mum sat on it, but she had nothing to do with it whatsoever. And we decided we'd put another one up, use whatever we could find, and came up with this rather interesting design, but it fits, it's nice. Lots of bramble around. Flowers are coming out. There'll be a good crop of blackberry. Oh. There's berries on the holly too. Right, step over here carefully. This is one of our areas which we sort of put aside so that we can have events in here like woodland festivals and things which moth trapping events and things for the brownies. This is where we have our fire. We've obviously had no fires. We don't want people coming here and lighting fires unsupervised. But up until recently, everything was so tinder dry, we certainly didn't want fires to be lit. This bit here has been sectioned off because we had, up until recently, can't see now, it's completely gone now. It only comes up for a few weeks. Town hall clock plant, and this patch comes up and then disappears and comes up again next year at about February. So this was the Viking Den. This is another area which we have called the Enchanter's Glade, Enchanter's Dell rather, because it's got rather mystical feeling to it, especially with the old field maple up in there and the archway caused by the hawthorn. We have all sorts of events going on in there too. Great. This was our, again they've gone now, but this is where we get our early purple orchids coming up each year, about 12 of them, and they don't spread. They've come up every year for years and years now, and they come up and disappear, and they don't spread at all. So, faithful, but they don't seem to want to move on. So, more lovely ferns. Okay, here's some more orchids which are coming up. These are broadleaf helleborines, and you can see the flowers coming, or it's on its way. We didn't even know these existed until we had to clear this area to make a tree safe, and next minute one arrived and we found 20 more, so it was quite exciting. So those are the helleborines. You right, Willow?
Yeah. Oh, I'm getting eaten.
Getting eaten alive. Right. Oh, evidence of moles. They've been busy all over the place. And we do have lots of rabbits in here as well. Do we go on that way for now? No, we'll do this shorter circle, I think. All these trees this is elder, which is dead, but it's great for insects and birds, so I just need to keep an eye on it so it doesn't fall on anyone. But as long as it's safe, we keep it there for people, not for people, for the wildlife. Dog Mercury, flower here. Here's a very old oak tree. You can see it's been, oh, and here on this old bit of elder you can see some jelly ear fungi shaped like ears, hence the name. And this old oak is, this is where the cobalt blue was first seen, and you can see it's being stripped. Maybe it's squirrels, it's likely to be squirrels actually, but the bark is coming off in places. But it's a dying tree, but oak trees take a long time to die. And they look lovely whilst they're around in whatever state they're in. Lots of lovely nettles for caterpillars. Let's see what else we've got. Field maple. More elder, the elderberries, the elder flowers are gone, and now we've got the lovely elderberries coming out. So people will be making, yeah, oh, this is part of the old railway culvert there. A lot of the flowers have come and gone, unfortunately, whilst we were still in the dreaded lockdown, so we missed a lot of them. All this ground cover. Young elder. Yes, I'm definitely going to have to come and do a bit of footpath clearance, I think. A bit of maintenance. And here we are coming up to the entrance again. A very quick tour. That's where the old road came up before the railway existed. Came up and over the quarry. And we finish up with a lovely view of one of our oldest chestnut trees. Been coppiced in the past, and you can see 4, 5, small trunks have become really large trunks now. Lots of wild, what on the name of it now, cow wheat coming up, the flowers. So that's it. That's the seasonal quick tour of Quarry Wood. Maybe we'll do another one later in the year when there's lots of lovely colours and the fungi are out, and maybe again next spring when the flowers are out. But thanks for watching. See you later.